Welcome to Hook, Hide, and Habitat. Hunt hard, fish harder, conserve always.
What's up, everybody? This is John with Hook, Hide, and Habitat. We got the Lithium Rhino 24V 100 amp hour battery out here. We're going to do an install on the boat. I finally decided where I'm going to put it. I'm going to put it up in the front, one of the storage compartments, as this battery is just solely going to be used to power the trolling motor. So we'll get at it. Y'all stay tuned and I'll show you how I do it. Thank y'all. Alright, y'all. The first thing we got to do is take this plate off right here. That's where I'm going to mount my gauge. And I'm going to pull my wire up through here. This right here had a bunch of old gauges and whatnot in it, and I removed those last week. So let's jerk her off there and we'll get started. Alrighty, we got that out of the way. Y'all can see we got a bunch of old wiring up in there. I'm going to redo a lot of the wiring here. But for today, we're just going to wire this Lithium Rhino battery up to the trolling motor. Alrighty, next step we're going to do is get the hillbilly snake and run it up through there, see if we can't grab a hold of it and pull some wire through. Alright, y'all, this is the compartment I'm going to put the battery in. Right here, it's close to the trolling motor. I'm going to try to offset some of the weight in the rear, but this will help a lot going to the lithium battery. But we got our hillbilly wire snake here. We'll stick your hand back up in there and feel where that wire is running. And we're going to run that right along with that old wire right up to the front of the boat. Alrighty, y'all, I think we hit the front of the boat. That went a lot smoother than what I thought it was going to. So now we're going to go up to the front of the boat, reach up in there and grab it, pull it out. We're going to attach our wire to it and pull our wire back through. Alright, y'all, we got our hillbilly wire snake run up here to the front of the boat. I'm going to stick my hand up in there and see if I can't grab a hold of her. Jerk her on back out of here. I got these big old bear paws and it's hard to fit up in these tight places, but look here, we got it. We're going to attach our wire to the end of this and then we're going to pull it back through the hole and pull our wire down the inside of the boat. Alright, y'all, we got our 6 AWG marine grade wire ready here. We're going to pull it back through, get it back there where we're going to put the battery at. The first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to do it the redneck way. Get out my old trusty pocket knife here, case XX. We're going to waller out a little hole in the end. We're going to sacrifice a little bit of wire here. I'm going to run them both at the same time. That way it's a little bit quicker. Just poke our little hole right there in the end. Waller it out a little bit, enough to get that hillbilly wire snake through there. I'm just gonna run them on the end like this right here. Take, bend that back down as much as I can get it. I'm gonna take a hillbilly band-aid here, black tape, wrap around the end of it. Mash that end down a little bit more there. We're going to tape it up really good. That way it don't get hung up. That'll come through a lot easier. Alright, y'all. We got that done. I'm going to start it back in the hole right there. Pull out a little bit of slack. And we're going to go to the other end of the boat and start pulling our wire through. Alrighty, yeah. Let's see what we got. Alright, y'all, we come back down here to the other end. And we're gonna start pulling our wire through. It's gonna be a little hectic at first, just get it started around the corner. We're gonna there we go. Now we're cooking. That right there is about all we need. We're gonna mount our breaker, mount our battery in here, and we'll have to run the terminal from that to that. So we should be pretty good with that right there. I might fish a little bit out because I got a little extra up here, but I want a little more up here because I'm just going to hardwire the trolling motor in. And with hardwiring the trolling motor, that right there, I need a little bit of slack and stuff, and that bypasses having that plug up here, which I'm glad to do away with. I've had issues with the plugs in the past going bad and stuff, so. Alrighty, that should be plenty right there. Alright, yeah, we got what we wanted up here. We're gonna cut it loose. And we'll get started on mounting the battery and whatnot. You ain't got a snake. 2 metal clothes racks do the trick just fine. Didn't have any issues with it. So. We're just gonna cut the ends off, sacrifice that. Our neutral will run straight to the battery. The hot will go to the breaker, which we'll install here in just a second. So, yeah, that's how you run the wire on a older boat, hillbilly style. All right, y'all, we're back here. We're gonna install this breaker on the inside of the box here. Get that knocked out of the way, then we'll start running our wire to it. Y'all, we got it up underneath there. It looks fairly straight to me. This right here is a trip breaker, so you can kill the power there if you need to, but we got a power switch to the battery as well, so but this right here comes in handy. Alright, we're gonna get our wire stripped, get our lugs put on, and we're gonna get it run down there to the breaker, get all that hooked up, and we'll be ready to go. Alright, y'all, we got her stripped off. We're going to run one of these shrink tubes up on it. Put our lug up on here. Some of these old wires are finicky. Alright. Got that up on there. Got our crimping tool. And put our lug up in there. We're going to crimp it down. Okay, take it off. We'll look at it. It's on there nice and tight. I'm going to give it one more little bite right here. Alrighty. Looks pretty good to me. It's tight, ain't coming on. Put our heat shrink tube up on there. We'll get that heated up. Let that shrink to that and we'll be good to go. Alright y'all, I do not have a heat gun and I do not recommend this, but I got my old lady's hair dryer. She's probably gonna kill me when she sees this video, but you know what? It's for the good of the cause, so we're gonna turn it on, see what we got here. Look here, y'all. Just good as a heat gun. Just don't let your old lady find out, she might kill you. But hey, it's worth it if you get to go fishing, right? Alright y'all, we're back. We're gonna put the lug on the breaker there. I'm gonna set you down the hole. Hopefully y'all can see that right there. Y'all can't see it, but this is your auxiliary side and this is your battery side. Line and load. So we're gonna jerk that off there. It is the notorious 10mm socket that always disappears. Imagine that. Alright. Put that right up on there. Take a little copper washer. Throw it on top. We're gonna get that started. That knocked you over, you see it? We're gonna tighten her down here. I'm just gonna hand tight it for now. That's about all we need anyways. So now we're ready. We're gonna set our battery down the hole. We're gonna get it hooked up. We're gonna put the lug on the neutral side and we should be ready to fish. Alright y'all, we're ready to put the lug on the ground. We're going to cut the end off there. Where we use the hillbilly snake to get it through. We're going to strip us off some wire here. I'm going to twist the end of it up there. We'll get our lug here. Run it up inside of it there. Where we're going to trim a little bit off. I cut that one a little bit too big. Alrighty. We're going to put our shrink tube up on there. We'll put our lug on. Get it nice and tight up in there. Get our crimpers. Bite down on our lug. Make sure we got it nice and tight. And we're going to crimp it. Alright, ready? We're going to Flip it on this side. We're gonna do the same. Crimp it again. Make sure we got that tight. Alrighty, we got her tight. We'll put the shrink tube on there. Got the old lady's hair dryer out here. We're gonna heat it up. Yeah, works just as good as a heat gun. Just don't get caught by the old lady. She might skinny hide there. Alright, y'all, we're gonna hook up to the battery side of the breaker. We got a pre-made terminal here that we're going to use. We're going to pop this off. Slide that up on there like that. I'm going to put one of these little bad boys right here. I'm going to tighten it up. We're going to hand tighten that one for now. Now we got that ready. Everything's ready to hook up to the battery. We're going to go up to the front of the boat, wire the trolling motor in, and then we'll get back to this and set the battery in place, wire it up, and be ready to go. Alright, y'all, we're going to run a wire out this hole right here. So we got our hillbilly wire snake. We're going to run back around through there. See if we can't pull that wire back up through here. We're going to do that the same way we did last time. We're just going to poke a hole in the end of it here. Kind of widen it out just a tiny bit. We're going to run it up on that. We're going to do this in the same exact way here. Poke a hole in it. Waller it out. Run it up on here. Get our black tape. We're going to tape it down. The only thing that does, holds it in place, prevents it from snagging on anything. It'll help it pull through this hole a lot smoother. I'm doing away with the plug for the trolling motor. Just going to hardwire it in. So I like that method a little bit better myself, but to each their own. Alright, let's see what we can do with this now. There we go. Pull the slack out. Get that nice and tight up in there. There we go. We got our snake through. We're going to cut that off. We're going to wire it to the trolling motor. And we're going to get back over to the battery. Then we're going to have it finished. Should be ready to go on the water. We'll be making some good videos with these lithium batteries here. I'm excited. Can't wait. Slide that in. Jerk it off there. Do that the same way. Should be done with their hillbilly wire snake. Alright y'all, we're going to do what we did over here. We're just going to cut this end off. And that's what we use the snake to line through there with. I'm going to go around these. We're going to strip a little bit more off. You always cut it off later if you get too much. I just want to have enough for to get it wired up here. We're going to do the black the same way. Trim that bad spot out. Get that out of the way. Alrighty, we got two different sizes of wire here. Should be alright. I'm going to strip this off just a little bit more. Cut that bad end off that. Strip me just a little bit more. Alrighty. Alright y'all, we got some wire nuts here. We're going to wire nut this together for temporary purposes. I got some butt connectors on the way. It's a little bit bigger. Waterproof will do a little better. But for now, this is what we're going to use. We got these twisted together. Run my wire nut down on it. Get it nice and snug. Alrighty. Y'all hear that wind chime in the back going crazy, ain't it? Alrighty, we're going to do the same with this one. Cut the end off here. Strip me some wire off. Do this in the same way. Twist it up just a little bit. Wire nut started. Nice and tight. That's what we want on these. Got it on there, nice and snug. The wires ain't gonna slip off. And what I'm gonna do for now, for temporary purposes, I'm gonna take black tape this up just to keep the water out, make it a little bit more waterproof. Like I said, I got some butt connectors on the way, and we'll get down that road later on. But for now, this is what we're doing. I ain't no professional, but I know enough to get by. Flip that tape over, lay that glue down, face up, all the way around it. Get me another swap back down this way with it. This helps keep the water out, that glue does. So I'm gonna flip it back around, go back over it, just the top layer. There we go. Now we're going to do the same thing to this side. Starter tape down here at the base of the wire. Get a couple good wraps with it, and start up our wire nut. Alrighty, reverse our tape, lay that glue slide straight up, and go back around with the other side. Make sure we wrap it up real good. This will be just as good until I get my butt connectors in. It's not as pretty, but it works. There we go. That's all set. I'm gonna tape them together just a little bit there. Living in the Appalachian Mountains, we love our black tape. It don't look pretty, but it gets the job done. So there we go. We got that done. Foot pedals wired in for the trolling motor. We gotta get our gauge and mount it on the plate here. We gotta snake it back through the bolt. We'll get that done and we'll be ready to set the battery and wire her up and see if she works. Y'all stay tuned. Alright y'all, we're going to snake this back through the bolt. This is for the gauge for the Lithium Rhino battery. We're going to get it started through this faceplate here. And that gauge is going to sit perfect. Fits that faceplate pretty good. I need to fabricate a new faceplate eventually because of this right here, but we'll cross that bridge later on down the road. But for now, we're just going to get this. We're going to try to get that snaked up to our hillbilly wire snake here somehow. I'm guessing just some black tape. And we're going to snake it back through the bolt like we did last time. So we're going to go down the other end of the bolt, run our snake up, try to thread that back down through there. Alright y'all, we're going to run our snake back up in there. Try to get that gauge wire attached to it so we can run it back down here to the battery. Hillbilly wire snake. We're going to run it up the bolt. See if we can't work it right up to the front. We almost got it. All right, y'all. Here we are with that. We're gonna get this attached to it right here. I'm gonna tape it up. Real good. We could take that fitting off, but I don't want to. I think you'll be able to just pull it right through there. Pretty easy. We got plenty of room between the deck and the bottom of the boat. My father-in-law built this deck for it, made it bigger. This was his boat to begin with, and it's a hand-me-down to me, and I appreciate it very much. You know, we're just gonna kind of get that started back down in there by hand. We get it through there. That's the main part right there. Now we're going to turn back around and we're going to pull it through. get it out to where we can get it hooked up to our battery and stuff. Keep turning y'all around so much. Y'all gonna be dizzy in a minute. Alrighty. Let's see how easy we can get this through here. Not as easy as I hoped. That's for sure. There we go, yeah. We got her pulled through. It took a little finagling up there because of this right here was getting hung. Or it's got to take a weird angle. But we got her through. We're going to cut that tape off. We should be done with that hillbilly wire snake. There we are. We got that fish through. We're going to go ahead and mount our gauge up front. Get that plate put back on there, and we should be ready to hook up to the battery and be ready to go do some fishing. Alright y'all, we up here back at the front of the boat. We ready to install our gauge here. Lithium Rhino gauge. Goes to the battery. It's a handy little thing. Especially if you're on them lakes, you can only use your trolling motor. You can keep check on your battery, how it's performing, your voltage, your amperage, temperature, all that fun stuff. You charge. We're gonna get this straight as we can here. I do plan on making a new plate, fabricating a new plate for this. This is an older one that had some older gauges in it. This hole right here was too big, so I had to add a little piece of metal in here to fill in for the power switch, but we will get that redone because I'm going to do away with these toggle switches. I don't need any switches up here. I'll control everything from back here at the console. So we're going to put the power switch here. This thing right here keeps you from raising your battery. I know it don't look pretty, that plate I got on there, but it'll do, and that's what we're about here. Practicality, using what you have. You don't got to buy nothing. But I will, when I got more time, I'll fabricate a new plate. I got some metal laying back here behind the house for it, so get that just hand tight. Put our plug back together. There we are. We are ready to go. We're going to stuff our wires back in here. Look here, fits like a glove. Let's find the drill we had. Get some screws in that plate for now. Alrighty, let's get that bottom screw up in there. There we go. We get the top one in. Perfect. Looky here how pretty that is. We'll get our battery on. We'll come back and show you the gauge, how it works, and what it shows. Alrighty, let's get the battery in and we'll be done. Alright y'all, we back at the box back here in front of the boat where I'm going to put the battery at. I'm going to set the battery in the hole. We're going to start hooking it up. So here we go. Of course, close the door on me. Alrighty. Get the battery set down in here and pop his plug out right here. We're going to hook that gauge up first. Just snaps right into place. Tighten your washers down. Alrighty. We got that on there. We're good to go on that one. Got our hot wire coming off a breaker here. We're going to put that on there with our Anderson plug. This Anderson plug right here, it's used for the charger. It just hooks right into the charger. You good to go, unhook it, be ready to go. Alright, we're back here. We're going to wire this up. Actually, I know. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to put a washer on top here. Our Anderson plug, and then this. That is a 13mm. I'm not one of these people that goes crazy with over tightening stuff, so which is a good thing. We're gonna do the same for neutral side. Bolt washer, Anderson plug, and the neutral lead. Get that wired up right here. Tighten that one down. Get her slack back through there. We got our Anderson plug here for the charger. Just gonna tug it down there out of the way. Kind of center the battery up here. We'll mount that down later. Right now we're gonna turn it on. I'm gonna use the plug up front to turn it on, so I'll show y'all how that works. And we should be all set. All right, y'all, we back up here to the front of the boat. We got our power switch installed, got our gauge installed, got our plate put back on. We're gonna turn it on and see what we got. Got power there. Hope y'all can see that gauge, sun and stuff. 26.2 volts, 54% charge, 95 degrees, and it's pulling 0 amps because we're not using it for anything. We'll hit our trolling motor here, see what we got. Look here. 2 amps, pulling 2 amps consistently. Voltage ain't dropping, none of that stuff, y'all. Check it out. And that's running that trolling motor. How's it go? Let's turn it down to 1. All right. Look here. 26.2 volts, 2.6 amps. Perfect. This lithium Rhino battery is the way to go, y'all. When you get done with your battery, power it off, you're done. Your battery's off. You ain't gotta go back there and mess with your box or nothing. Y'all check that out.